Yes, good afternoon. Are you awake? Are you slumbering? Do I have your attention? Because I'd like to share with you the fact that I believe much the same way as the Russian mystic Gurdjieff and the Gnostics, that the majority of humanity are asleep, slumbering in a type of death sleep of gross materialism and earthbound ego. I believe that most people are materialists who are happy to accept the illusion of the society, of the spectacle of Will Smith slapping Kid Rock or whomever it was, I don't know, but that's majority of people and what their consciousness consists of. Tabloid headlines. Well, you're not going to evolve. You're not going to leave the third dimension, put those low reptilian energies below the survival, fight or flight, all of that, Kid Rock slapping Will Smith, I don't know, that is the digital matrix. That is what ties you into that reality, that third dimension, low vibe, low frequency. I'm interested in evolution. Me personally, I escaped that, I believe. You have to ask yourself, can you state unequivocally, can you state that you have ascended, that your direction, your spiritual compass, your direction in life is still caught up in all of that? Or have you set your direction to the higher realms? There is two types of persecution, I believe, two types of psychic attack. There is persecution from within, where you're split, where you're conflicted. You say something, but there's just a small marginal, aspect of doubt. You're not 100% sure. You're not confident that from within, you are united. You can say something with utmost sincerity and veracity, or you're a little bit conflicted inside. You're not sure. There's still a little doubt. There's something that you quite haven't worked out yet. It might be an addiction to Folgers coffee, but you know what it is. And then there's another type of attack, the type of attack from without, persecution from without. That strengthens a person. Like Mao Zedong, the great Chinese communist leader, said he enjoyed it. He was thrilled when his enemies cursed his name or spoke his name in anger, because it made him feel alive. Well, without getting into politics, really all that means is that he, as a united individual from within, could withstand attacks from without, because he had a purpose. He was united in his purpose, in his intention. And so attacks from without do nothing for the person being attacked, except for to strengthen their resolve, their defenses, their force fields. So it's all about evolution in my mind. I'm not here to grind any axes, although the axe is symbolic. The one who carries the axe, if you notice in the Roman symbols of the, I forget what that's called exactly, but it was the bundle of twigs, of sticks, and there were two axes that were in that bundle, and that's what the Roman legions tended to have as one of their symbols. But it was the axe associated with the chopping power of godlike force. So in that sense, yes, I will represent the axe and the chopping force of source consciousness. Other than that, I'm not here with a platform. I'm just trying to empower others as I've seen that I've been able to empower myself, and it has greatly reduced conflict within and made life much more enjoyable and much simpler when you deconnect, when you unplug from the digital matrix. And that involves evolution from one point where you find yourself in life, say where I found myself August 11th of 2021, and the journey from that point in time, in linear time, to where I am currently. That certainly involved evolution. There's the type of evolution, physical evolution, that involves natural selection, random mutation, conscious selection, and conscious mutation, these sort of things. There's human evolution, which I'm talking about mostly. DNA mutates to conform to alien soul frequency, or else DNA is artificially altered through advanced genetic engineering by certain alien functions, type of artificial evolution. Then there's the body and the soul evolution. Physical evolution accommodates your spiritual. It serves your spiritual evolution. So you want to take care of your genetic vehicle. Your spiritual evolution is the accumulation of your individuality, self-awareness, and your knowledge. Remember, knowledge is paramount because knowledge creates your consciousness, the quality of your consciousness. And that's what ultimately leads us back to the first law of the seven Hermetic laws. All is mental. Everything is consciousness. So that's how you tap into the quality of your existence, is through an assessment of your consciousness. Your consciousness could be informed by morality. And I'm not here on a soapbox to inform you what your morality is, but you have to decide for yourself so that from within, you're not conflicted. If you have a table of morals, a table of laws that you subconsciously are tethered to, and you're violating that, well, that's your issue that you have to work out. It doesn't apply to anybody else except for you and what you and your subconscious are tied into. I mean, what causes pain and is self-serving is called evil. I think we can all agree on that. It's not evil for two people of the same gender to be in love. That's far be it from me to say that is evil. But I think we can all agree on what is an evil, that it causes pain and it's self-serving in a way, and it to the detriment of others in your life. What is loving and altruistic is called good, I think, is to good indications of good and evil are subjective and relative, though, but positive and negative are objective and absolute. Good and evil are subjective and relative, but positive and negative are objective and absolute. Proper balance between good and evil forces results in positivity. Too much good leads to stagnation. Too much evil leads to total destruction, which is negativity. Balance is maintained by having both in proper ratio and diametrical opposition. One who fights solely for good or evil is a fool. One who fights strictly for positivity is a noble warrior. Such a warrior will incorporate the proper balance of good and evil within himself or herself, then seek to restore balance to negative systems. Free will. Some beings have more free will than others. We all are, by our divine right, your reality. It's up to you to steer your course as you see fit through the gift of free will. The more consciousness, though, the self-awareness or spiritual evolution one possesses, the greater one's free will. Possession of free will is useless until it is recognized and applied. Beings with free will can be coerced into behaving as though they have none. Don't I know that? I used to be one of those. Knowledge allows these deceived beings to regain the full use of their former free will. Knowledge, or applied spiritual practices, gnosis. But having the courage to unite yourself from within and begin to make changes in your outward life. It involves change in direction in life, change in relationships, removing people from your life, and so be it. Humans in general are beings with enormous amounts of free will. Negative alien factions have instated a control system, though, to trick us humans into limiting our own free will. Negative alien factions, I'm talking about Alpha Draconian, I'm talking about Orion, reptilians. Then those that are dark alien forces that are limited to fourth dimension as high as they'll ever go, because this is all they know, is dominance and power and tricking others over, tricking free will humans. Thus their reliance, and they rely upon technology and subtle coercion as a form of like a spiritual jujitsu to overcome a spiritually greater opponent. Yes, we humans with our soul connection and our consciousness and our source connection and awareness are spiritually superior to the Orion, Alpha, negative alien, dark forces, Illuminati, Cabal, etc. Beings with actively applied higher levels of free will can override the actions, thoughts, and realities of beings with lower levels of free will. Beings with lower free will either directly or indirectly serve beings of higher free will. Physicality allows a violation of free will between physical beings, the main reason why physical existence is a valuable experience in the path of spiritual evolution. Our evolution involves an awareness of cosmology, that reality has multiple timelines, dimensions, and planes of existence, including physical, astral, and etheric. Physical reality is generated by a base level consciousness, or the logos, whose behavior is described by the laws of physics. Logos is the soul of the physical universe, though without independent sentient consciousness, free will, or creativity. Logos provides the matter and energy for physical bodies into which independent consciousness souls incarnate. Entropy, logic, mathematics, rigidity, substance instead of form, and linear time are keywords associated with the logos. The logos is not God, it is merely half of God, the other half being individual consciousness. An understanding of things like physical, quantum physics, speed of light is how fast finite consciousness propagates through linear space, an arbitrary quantity decided by the logos. All of physical reality from beginning to end in all its possible manifestations was instantly created when the creator projected its unified infinite self into an infinity of differentiated finite selves. That's us. Reality exists as a static fractal hologram, encompassing all possible modes of existence and experience. Through the holographic web of possibilities, consciousness chooses which frame of the hologram to experience, giving rise to the illusion of time. There's a lot of information within that. Through this holographic web of possibilities, consciousness chooses which frame of the hologram to experience, giving rise to the illusion of time. This choice is restricted by the logos and opposing free will of other beings. The unified field is a scalar phase field, meaning a field where every point has its own value of phase. Phase measures location along a wave, or the alignment between two waves. Flows, whirls, and compressions in the scalar field give rise to electricity, magnetism, and gravity. By itself, the phase field is amorphous and encompasses all probabilities and quantum wave functions. Consciousness provides a coherent wave source interacting with the phase field and extracting a chosen slice of the hologram to experience as manifested physical reality. There are three types of time. There's linear time, phase time, and spiritual time. Linear time is our conscious record of events. Phase time measures the difference between parallel timelines, and spiritual time measures progress along the axis of spiritual evolution. Physical reality as we know it moves forward in linear time and is entropic. From a linear perspective, individual consciousness originates from the many probable futures and propagates backwards in linear time. And individual consciousness coupled to physical reality experiences forward linear time. So it's, you gotta refer back to through the holographic web of possibilities. Consciousness chooses which frame of the hologram to experience. And that Depending on which frame consciousness of the holographic reality it chooses to experience is how it will experience that time. Linear time affecting the probability of processes happening in the present individual consciousness. When coupled to an astral, etheric, or higher dimensional body, time becomes nonlinear. When coupled to no body, time becomes non-existence, and the soul unites with its source. The human body is a biological vehicle whose great genetic diversity allows for the incarnation of a great diversity of souls and spirits. Our genetic vehicle. Take care of yours. It must serve its purpose to evolve your consciousness. Human genetics are unique in allowing potentially closer intergenetic interface with the creator and the machine code of reality than most other physical life forms in the galaxy. While physically uniform, mankind is metaphysically diverse. Origins of souls and human bodies include native human, alien, animal group souls, or artificial non-existent souls. Aliens genetically engineered different human races by crossing various alien races with each other, crossing them with hominid and Neanderthal genetics already present on Earth and successfully tweaking what resulted. Aliens originate from other planets, dimensions, parallel realities, and times, have countless reasons for being here, but can be classified into positive, negative, and neutral factions. Each alien race is composed of a mixed bag of factions of varying intentions. They reside underground, on the moon, other planets, in space, underwater, and in higher levels of reality. They have human counterparts, which are these alien souls incarnated in genetically tweaked human bodies. Negative aliens abduct humans for mind programming purposes, physical and etheric food, and hybrid breeding experiments. Main negative groups at present are factions within the gray and reptilian races. Grays primarily use humans as genetic stock to build a new hybrid race for incarnation. Reptilians want humans as a natural, physical, and spiritual resource. Yes, we've been farmed through the digital matrix for our energies. Energy harvesting, primarily of the survival, negative, lower chakra energies. So we'll hold up there, and then I'm going to pick up back with a new order of the ages and sort of all the talk about the secret societies and the mystery schools and how they've been behind a lot of the developments here on the planet. But the next video I want to make, I'm going to focus on the conception of the United States of America, how it began, the circumstances that led to the European, whatever you want to call them, invaders. But the very first pilgrims, the very first members of those groups of people that were fleeing what they believed was religious persecution in England, all that stuff is true, and that's what we're going to talk about, the pilgrims. There were different kinds of pilgrims, the separatist pilgrims, and the ones that were fleeing, so that's what we're going to talk about and kind of put the spotlight on the United States of America and where the destiny of this country, the United States, where I live here, and what's going on with it and where it's setting itself up for in a linear timeline and a future, that could involve cataclysmic events. But in my mind, me personally, I am looking to the reestablishment of a new Atlantis. The name is really incidental. I don't care if it's Atlantis, Lemuria, whatever, Compton, I don't care. As long as it is a group of people that are living by the law of one and unity consciousness with higher aspirations towards spiritual evolution, to always be conscious of our source connection and living by the law of one, where everyone is treated equally through the eyes of the creator source with love and high positive spiritual intentions. That is my goal. That's what I would like to manifest. So namaste, namaskaram.